In the heart of the bustling city, I once lived a life that embodied everything I ever wanted. It was blissful, full of joy and contentment. But in just a snap, my simple life was disturbed by tragedy and cruelty just because I fell for the wrong man, whose family engraved a deep agony against mine. My name is Rhea, a woman known for my sharp intellect, boundless enthusiasm, and unwavering optimism. Little did I know that my story would take a tumultuous turn, filled with twists, betrayals, and the sweet taste of revenge. At the centre of this tale lies my beloved mother, Jessica. She was the embodiment of care, sweetness, and humility. Her strength was like a silent force, a pillar of support that had shaped my life in more ways than I could fathom. She raised me single-handedly because my father died while I was still a toddler. The universe was good to us, especially to her, because she was able to make a mark on the business world. I grew up witnessing her success as she climbed up the steps of the corporate ladder, and now she is one of the influential and renowned people in the business world, talking about business education and even marketing strategies. Life was simple, yet wonderful, until my world was invaded by the cold winds of betrayal. I always blamed myself for everything that happened to me, especially the unfortunate ones. For me, it felt like I deserved to suffer because, after all, I was the one who had let this man, my husband, enter my life and ruin it. Harold, my husband, was a man with a veneer of charm, hiding a heart that was indifferent and cruel. Yes, I was deceived and foolishly fooled. He was my college crush, a handsome, smart young man that aces almost everything: sports, academics, and performing arts. Of course, my fragile and naive heart went head over heels for him. It took me 4 years to get noticed by him. I knew that he was a Casanova. He would date girls and then break their hearts. I was always aware that he is a red flag, but I still went with him. I was truly a fool. Until he finally took interest in me. He started to court me and won my heart. And just right after our graduation, Harold and I started to date. He went out and introduced ourselves as boyfriend and girlfriend. Many people adored us as a couple. Some even said that maybe I would be the girl that would make a man out of Harold and allow him to change his old childish ways. Then, by the time he introduced me to his mother, Jenna, it was when everything started to crumble. The hatred and disgust she had for me was evident. I didn't really know why, but the moment our eyes met, she gave me a smug look and even looked at me from head to toe with a disappointed face. Who are you again? I mean, what is your full name? The intimidating vibes of her voice was so prominent that I almost could not make my tongue move because I was so scared. She has this demanding and looming presence that makes you submit to her. I am Rhea, Rhea Silvers. She almost choked from the tea she had just sipped when she heard my reply. She quickly put her glass on the table and looked at me confused. I too was confused. Come again? She asked me while her brows raised. I'm Rhea Silvers. She crossed her legs and arms, still looking at me intently with one of her brows raised. So, tell me, is your mother Jessica Silvers? I nodded in response. How did she know my mother? Maybe through her business travels or symposiums. Yes, she is my mother. She scoffed and shook her head. Oh dear, this is not happening. I won't allow this to happen. Harold, do you know her mother? Harold immediately responded. Yes, Mum. We met several times and she is a fine woman. She treats me so well. And I think everyone knows her mother, Jessica Silver. She's famous, right? I was so shocked when Jenna banged the table and the teacups almost slipped from the small table. She doesn't deserve that fame. That was supposed to be mine. I was so confused when she started acting hysterical. She was so angry that Harold had a hard time calming her down. I was even terrified of what was happening. Let that girl go, Harold. I don't want you to see that bitch daughter. She is a curse, and I am telling you, do not marry her. She grabbed the spoon and threw it at me. Good thing I was able to dodge it. I was so shocked by what was happening. She was about to throw another one at me when the next thing I remember was that Harold was dragging me out. "Please, go home." "What is happening, Harold? Why is your mother so mad at me?" He was so confused about everything as well. I'll tell you everything soon. My mother needs me." But I need you." He just closed his eyes and instructed me to go. "Just go. My mother is having a hard time because of you." At that moment I realised that he was a mama's boy, firmly under the thumb of his mother, a woman whose wickedness was matched only by her cruelty. The next day, Harold approached me and displayed his genuine apology. He was too afraid of his mum, that's why he tended to her first. I mean, there wasn't any issue with that. I just wanted him to be more sincere. After that, he revealed to me a past issue. It was about the rivalry between his mum and mine. Circumstances really liked playing games with us. Of all people, I am really dating the son of my mother's mortal enemy. I have heard the truth of the story before from my mother, and I do believe that what she told me was true. The story was about their academic competition when they were in high school. My mother was top of her class, while Harold's mother was second after her. Jenna hated my mother for being the best. That's why she did everything to bring her down. On their college admission test, Jenna did a terrible deed to my mum, as she spilled coffee on my mother's admission slip, forbidding her to take the exam. In short, my mother wasn't able to get to her dream university, while Jenna did. Many people saw the incident. That is why I can truly attest that my mother is telling the truth. She tormented my mother, even after high school, because aside from that, she tried to steal my father away. In fact, they had an affair right before he died. She tormented my mother even after high school. Her anger and insecurity towards her was so strong. But she told a different story to Harold. It was the other way around. She told him that she was the victim and my mother was the villain. She sowed the seeds of discord and hatred between my mother and her, a rivalry that stretched back to their high school days. But despite everything, Harold and I profess our unboundless love for each other. We decided to leave everything behind and just focus on ourselves. Our mother's rift shouldn't hinder us from pursuing each other and from building a life together. So, we decided to tie the knot and got married. Of course, Jenna disapproved of it, but Harold fought for us. He fought for our love, and the both of us persevered. But it only made Jenna's hatred towards me stronger. As Harold and I embarked on our journey of love, Jenna's resentment grew. She displayed her animosity towards me with a calculated viciousness that mirrored her hatred for my mother. She projected her own anger issues onto me, casting me as the scapegoat for her discontent. I told my mother about this and she wanted to confront her dear old rival, but I was the one who stopped her. I don't want to make everything worse. I just have to keep up with it and let it be. However, she hated that I remained a calm demeanour whenever she acted mean to me. She hated the fact that I am not biting her anger and paid her no mind. So she spread the wrong rumour about her and my mother's rift. She told everyone about it, and not just Harold. The darkness deepened as she skillfully manipulated the narrative. My mother's gentle nature was twisted, and Jenna's influence painted her as the villain, while she cunningly assumed the role of the victim. The tale she wove spread like wildfire, turning friends into enemies and allies into doubters. I felt like an outsider, a stranger within my own family, watching helplessly as Jenna's poison spread. Yet, she even went too far that even our own kin and relatives were manipulated by her lies and schemes. Nevertheless, our love persevered, and Harold and I vowed to spend our lives together. Our bond was strong, and the joy we found together was undeniable. We established a home, with Jenna's presence initially being a minor disturbance. She would never miss a day not saying anything rude about my mother. One day, she purposefully came up to me to talk bad about my mother. "Oh, Rhea dear, have you heard about your precious mother lately? It's truly amazing how someone could pretend to be so sweet and humble while harbouring so much darkness. I winced at what she said. Jenna, please. Oh, no, let me finish. I mean, how could Jessica possibly be as innocent as she portrays herself to be? Remember that high school incident? It's clear that she hasn't changed one bit. Gosh, what a scumbag! I struggled to hold my tears. Jenna, you don't understand. My mother is genuinely a good person. She's been through a lot. Oh, come on, Rhea. Spare me the sob story. She might have you fooled, but I see right through her act. She's always been a master of manipulation. That's not true, Jenna. My mother has faced her share of challenges, and she's never let them turn her bitter. She's always been kind and caring. And we both know the real story. You were the one who did the bad thing. She just rolled her eyes and made a face at me like a child. Well, sweetie, appearances can be deceiving, and let's not forget the way she used her kindness to get sympathy. It's all part of her little game, isn't it? You're completely twisting things. My mother has been through so much, and she's always handled it with grace and strength. Grace and strength, if you say so. But remember, I've seen the way she operates. She always has been eager to play the victim, to make everyone feel sorry for her. It's pathetic, really. Stop it, Jenna. You have no right to speak about my mother that way. Oh, I'm sorry if the truth hurts, Rhea, but someone needs to open your eyes to who your mother really is. You might think she's some saint, but I've seen her true colours. You don't know anything about her. You're just spreading lies and gossip. Call it what you want, Rhea, but I'm just looking out for you. I've known your mother longer than you have, and I can see right through her facade. I couldn't bear it any longer. Her cruelty is already on the roof. I tried my best to endure all of it, but as time passed, her malevolent influence began to take root in Harold's mind, warping his affection into resentment and his loving into loathing. And then she successfully brainwashed him into hating me. She was spitting lies in his head, telling him that I am stealing money from him, I am seeing someone else, and that I am hurting her when it is not even true. Then a crushing blow descended upon me like a storm cloud. My mother was out of town for a business pitching event, and Jenna was out of town as well. The news of my mother's tragic accident shattered my world. She lost consciousness during their buffet session, and she was rushed to the ER. The doctor said it was poison. I was so scared for her life. Good thing she survived, but half of her body got paralysed. My heart ached as I saw her struggle, her strong spirit shaken by the unexpected tragedy. Fueled by my love and concern, I made the difficult decision to bring her into our home, hoping to care for her as she had cared for me. However, Jenna's malice knew no bounds. My husband's love for me was overshadowed by his devotion to his mother, who labelled my mother as a burden and a freeloader. Now that my mother is weak and helpless, Jenna felt like she had the upper hand. So she used my husband to throw torment at us. The home that was once a sanctuary of love was now a battleground of resentment. The final straw was when Harold made the unthinkable decision to kick my mother out, allowing Jenna to claim dominion over our home. I'm kicking your mother out. My mother is moving in. Harold, please. My mother is not in good shape right now. Please, if you still have a little love for me, please help me. I don't want to hear anything from you. You are just like your mother, worthless and useless. That is true, son. We should get rid of these leeches. They don't deserve to be here. Besides, you paid for this house, right? From your own money. This woman has never given any contribution to build this townhouse. Now, go away, you monsters. Go away and never come back. I raised an eyebrow after I heard what she said. I looked at my husband, and he is facing down to the ground, avoiding eye contact. I was heartbroken, but I refused to be defeated. With a determined resolve, I stood my ground and declared, Fine, but I'm bringing the house with us. I took with us the title of our home, detailing that my mother owned the house. Yes, Harold lied. He told his mother that he bought the house for us when in fact it was my mother. She paid for everything and bought the house as a surprise for me, and Harold was even part of the plan. And now, why did he tell his mum that he bought the house? Of course, he is a mama's boy. He wants to make his mother proud. So, I took action. A real estate agent and a lawyer joined my case. I handed them the case and they agreed to help me. The next day, both Harold and Jenna woke up to a scene they would never forget. The lawyer, together with the agents and police officers, expelled Jenna and Harold from our property. The shock on their faces was almost as satisfying as the victory itself. With a flourish, I revealed that my mother had gifted the house to Harold, intending to surprise me. My mother worked hard to give me this house, and I will never let any of you take that away from her, from us. So now, the two of you will suffer the consequences of your actions. The police officers handcuffed them and brought them to court. The courtroom was a stage of reckoning. With documents in hand, I exposed the tangled web of lies Jenna had woven. And suddenly, while my husband was standing at court, his lies crumbled before the truth, and the depths of his betrayal came crashing down on him. He confessed to his role in Jenna's schemes, revealing that she had orchestrated my mother's accident out of envy. She was the one who poisoned her, and it made me even more furious. The details of their conversation were damning evidence of her sinister intentions. As Jenna's empire of deceit crumbled, a sense of justice filled the air. The courtroom erupted in disbelief as the true extent of her manipulation was laid bare. My mother's honour was restored, and the weight of her suffering lifted. Jenna was convicted, her reign of terror finally coming to an end. In the aftermath, as my mother's health improved, a new dawn emerged. The shadows of the past were replaced by the warmth of love and reconciliation. My husband, humbled by his mistakes, embarked on a journey of redemption, determined to rebuild the trust he had shattered. And as for me, the trials and tribulations had transformed me into a stronger, wiser version of myself. The scars remained, but they were a testament to my resilience and the battles I had fought and won. The satisfaction of unmasking the antagonist, of exposing the lies, and of reclaiming my mother's dignity was a triumph that resonated deep within my soul. The journey was arduous, but it was one of triumph over adversity, of courage in the face of cruelty, and of the unbreakable bond between a mother and her daughter. The darkness had been vanquished, replaced by a brighter, more hopeful future. And as my mother and I walked hand in hand, united in love and strength, we knew that our story was not just one of revenge, but of redemption and resilience. In the wake of the courtroom drama, a sense of closure settled upon our lives like a comforting embrace. With Jenna's malevolence banished, our home once again became a sanctuary of love and tranquility. The tension that had once suffocated us was replaced by an air of freedom, a newfound lightness that lifted our spirits. As the truth prevailed, the community that had once been swayed by Jenna's manipulation began to see her for what she truly was, a master of deception driven by her own insecurities and jealousy. The narrative was rewritten, and the sympathy that had been directed towards her shifted, turning her into a figure of disdain. The transformation in my husband was equally striking. The scales had fallen from his eyes, and he faced the wreckage of his choices with a mix of regret and determination. While he couldn't undo the past, he was resolute in making amends and rebuilding the trust he had shattered. The journey to redemption would be long, but it was a path he was willing to tread. My mother's recovery was a testament to her strength and resilience. Freed from the burden of Jenna's cruelty, she regained her spirit and began to thrive once more. Our bond, forged through adversity, became even stronger, a reminder that love could withstand the hardest of trials. In the aftermath, the scars remained, but they were a reminder of the battles we had fought and won. The victory was more than just a legal triumph. It was a victory of the spirit, a testament to the power of resilience and the pursuit of justice. Our lives had been forever altered, but in the wake of the storm, we emerged stronger, united and unbroken. As time moved forward, the wounds continued to heal. The bitterness of the past gave way to forgiveness, and the lessons learned were never forgotten. My husband's transformation into a man who could stand on his own, free from Jenna's toxic influence, was a testament to his growth. And my mother, the true hero of our story, continued to shine with grace and humility, embodying the strength that had carried us through the darkness. To fight for the truth is sometimes hard, but it only takes one courage to make it happen and break the bonds of injustice. Just like Rhea, are you willing to fight for what is right? Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, click the notification bell, and like our videos.